Morning, guys and girls. Excuse me. Yeah, afternoon, wherever you're at. G'day, g'day. Matt, were you able to get a quick peek over at Blueberry and possibly 8 cap? Yeah, just put patience, motherfucker, just for jokes today. Busy last night. I'm gonna look into it over the weekend. Yeah, anybody who's I mean, there's several good depending where you're at in the world, but I think we don't talk about this enough. Obviously funding is kind of like the tool or the mechanism that we want to acquire capital to be able to fund ourselves. If anybody is looking for good reputable brokers, ideally raw spread ECN brokers, the IC Markets is not available to Canadians, and I don't even think it's available to Americans anymore. I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't quote me on that, but I think there's certain regions within America where you're not allowed to get it. Some really good alternatives, at least in my opinion, that I've personally dealt with are 8cap directly. And then one of the sister companies, or the ones that use their liquidity provider, or 8cap as their liquidity provider, is Blueberry Markets. So I know a few people have asked over the course of the last few months and stuff. And yeah, Blueberry is the one that I use personally. The only restriction with Blueberry Markets that I've found, at least, is the lot sizing, that you're only allowed to do 40 lot positions. You can do multiple of them, but yeah, 40 lot positions is what does broker liquidity mean? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Okay, let's get into this. So yeah, Euro JPY, this is one of my ones I was looking for this week. Or this morning. What do we got here? Okay. So GJ might be interesting. We've gotten the run at the high. I'm just gonna have a couple sips of coffee here before we get into this. I literally, it's been nice. I've been visiting my parents for like a week and a half now, and if I'm being honest, I'm a little bit out of my routine. I haven't been going to the gym in the morning. It's been a little bit later in my schedule, so I've been enjoying sleeping in till 7 o'clock in the morning as opposed to being up at 4:30. Oh, okay, gotcha. There you go. All right, what else we got here? So GJ seems. Hey Tyson, haven't been around, been busy with the reno, but nice to be here for the live session today. I hope all is well, brother. I'm watching your progress every day. Yes, sir. I'm also forever going to be a student, and it's just a fantastic journey to be on. There's ups and downs as there are in life, but yeah, no, it's been fantastic. Been a really good week this week, and lots of these to come, right? You just got to stay patient, follow your rules, And that's all there really is to it, right? Trading can be very, very simple if you let it. And a lot of people, people don't realize how good it can be. Just keep things as simple as possible. Okay, so I'm pretty interested in potentially looking at GJ here. Potentially. I think we're going to see another drive down, to be honest with you. So let's see what we can do to maybe get into this. This. So I'm just responding to a quick email here. Can you guys hear me now? Cool. All right. Sorry. Okay. Let's have a quick peek at what's going on here. Have a quick peek. So there might be something, might have been something maybe up in this region potentially, but I'm just trying to get my bearings. So let's just start over from scratch. That's the best option. Start from a 4 hour and just kind of work our way down here. Cool. So initial tap in. So we've got liquidity to be able to target here, at least in my opinion. It looks like this should potentially roll over. Or I've just been on the wrong side of this the whole fucking time, which is very possible. But it looks like the market's wanting to dive deeper. Like there's just so much available here to push price. Would be kind of silly to think that it wouldn't potentially want to sort of navigate down in those regions. Let's check out news first before I get caught with that again, and we can progress from there. Linktree, Kajabi, Forex Factory. That's the one. 1 hour till news. Oh, we got USD stuff today. Yeah. Okay, good to know. Good to know. So let's have a peek at what's happening. Lower time frame. So like I said before, like we've got sort of like this internal, or sorry, substructure break, my bad. We haven't quite broken internal just yet. Yeah, like we've got this really failed out reaction coming down. Like this looks like it's building liquidity to come down, in my opinion, at least. So I'm going to stay with that sort of sell narrative until we come down into, something in here, potentially look for something against this. But I'm really, really interested in potential sells, to be honest with you. It looks pretty promising, especially after the grab, the reaction, the mitigation, and yeah, it just looks like liquidity is built in our overall direction, which, excuse me, I really like temporarily. So let's just move that guy over 15. Yeah. Some equal lows to go after. Yeah, I think we're going to see a nice push down on this. We shall see. So I guess, what am I looking for is the question right now. So let's have a look at just this overall sort of area. So where's our interaction? Our interaction is here. This is the area that takes liquidity, right? Probably lower time frame stuff. But yeah, I think we've gotten a decent run into it, right? You can see our demand supply. Sorry, let me just talk this out a little bit, try to understand what we're doing. Demand. 3 seconds, a little coffee sip here. Let's blow this up a bit. Okay, so we get the initial drive. We had a level to take into here. Let's get down onto our lower stuff. Liquidity to take. Coming into this. There may have been a trade in there. I'm not really sure. Let's just see what we've got. Yeah, so this is the trade that we're really after is in, and I probably just missed it. It's typically the way it goes on our live trading days, but what do? C'est la vie, right? So this is that like really nice, like, okay, we've had order flow kind of realign here. Like this, I'm not super sold on. I probably wanted to see a run on this high, but when you see this take on liquidity right here, that happens, pushes us down. And then we have this wonderful level right here to essentially induce. You get that nice run into it. We got a confirmation entry in here potentially. Like these are the ones I'm after just to manage. And again, this is just playing into a higher, like a good higher time frame reaction. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to take out swing structure lows. It's just, yeah, being realistic about where that next liquid region is. And if you look at this, like this doesn't look like there's a whole lot of money supporting this. This just looks like a drive into here to be able to start chopping around, potentially take one more time and then start dropping. It's very difficult to say right this second. But yeah, the setup, I guess, that I would be really after here would be something along the lines of, if we broke down, right? If we broke down and we saw something like this, right? And then swept into something like this, that would be more interesting to me personally. So we'll just sit and wait. That's it. That's all. No need to rush things. And USD CAD. Yeah, there was a really nice move on USD CAD in here, but again, you're kind of, yeah, the trend is not exactly a stat. Like this is a really good reaction play in here, but like the trend is just so bullish, right? But yeah, this looks like higher time frame liquidation and then a little rip off there that yeah, understanding the liquidity concepts in there, like, man, you could definitely bank some half decent R. We'll have a look at that a little bit later. Let's monitor GJ. I think that's the most promising sort of pair that I want to kind of be looking at this morning, if I'm being honest. So let's just go to the 15. Not given confirmation entry. Is there a reason for GJ to take the most recent EQ? Equal highs or equal lows? Which ones? Do you want to label where you're talking about exactly? Is there a reason? Oh man, I mean, for sure, it could definitely do it. It's tough to say, right? So, like I said, the area that like I would be particularly interested in trading, these specific areas at least would be somewhere along the lines of this area. Just given the fact that we have our LTT, you can just see like we're getting poor reactions here. So seeing that we're obviously not being able to break down, like we can assume that there's potential weakness in the highs, right? Which could lead to deeper mitigations of up here, and then we got to look for order flow realignment. So yeah, we just got to chill, man. Very it could very easily run those highs. It was a long setup on EJ during London. Yeah, we'll get into that towards the end of this, guys. I want to monitor this and see if there's a trade that might come to light here, and then we can get into a couple of the different pairs towards the end of this. But yeah, I have my watch list done from last night that I just want to monitor, and this is the main pair for me that I'm just looking to see if it delivers any kind of criteria for us. So we will check those things out a little bit later on. I just want to stay alert. Broken demand levels, come back down. Reacting to the low though, that's the only thing I don't like. So we're gonna sit and wait for now. The interesting part about trading is that I think a lot of people get on the charts, and I'm sure most people will resonate with this, but they get on the charts, they look at the charts, and they just assume that they're going to understand what's happening with PA. They think that there's got to be a valid POY for us to trade from right away. And it couldn't be further from the truth, right? It's one of these things where it takes time to develop. We need to understand where these strong levels could potentially be in the market, because we don't want to be trading from weak levels, right? That's the whole idea. Into the M15 supply up here, Maddie. Yeah. And then we'll have to look for a realignment again, all that fun stuff. But yeah, there's not always going to be a trade, guys. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. Not always going to be a trade or a POI that really makes sense, right? This could all get induced. Ideally, I'd like to see something, a little bit more up in here for sure. Usually want to be trading from a nice sweep, right? This is a decent sweep, but there's lots of equals around here, so you just got to be careful, that's all. Mm. right. What else we got? Check out your JPY. Yeah, there might have been a nice long in here, actually. You're staying with, yeah, that might have been a half decent one, to be honest. We'll look into that a little bit further once the session's over. Staying at your parents another weekend before going home. Yeah, got yeah. Anyways, not to get into some personal stuff, but yeah, I'll be up here for another few days, possibly a week. Not mad about it. It's a pretty chill spot. It's been nice, man. Been on the lake for about a week and a half now, and they're actually out right this second. And so they got up around 6:30 this morning to go out on the water. My stepdad has like an older, like very very old school 1980s like mint condition Mastercraft ski boat. So they're out right now. It's absolutely glass on the lake, and they're gone out to go water skiing at 7 o'clock in the morning. They're living the life. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, yeah, trying to enjoy as much as I can out here while I'm here. And I've also got my family who's visiting from Australia. They're originally, well, my aunt is originally from here, and yeah, she ended up marrying somebody in Australia, and they're here with their kids. So they come down every 3 years, and so we've been chilling with them quite a bit. My mom's got a surprise 60th birthday this weekend on Saturday, so I think there's like 80 people going. They've like rented like a venue for it and everything. So yeah, trying to see them as much as I can while I'm here. Excuse me. I'm going to Florida next weekend for the 60th. Nice, Kim. Maybe I'll fly down and have to join you, get out of this fucking hellhole of a city. You think the 15-minute high from the sweep is protected because it broke internal structure, or is it weak because it failed to break deeper structure? Which one exactly? This guy up here, Nick, or are we talking about this one? This doesn't really like, this is tough. I wouldn't say that this is a strong level. It's going to gain relevance based on how it's delivered into and away from. It would be more of an intraday play, to be honest with you, but I think the potential protected area could possibly be in here. Just given the fact that we've swept in, we've had a nice V-shaped recovery, we've failed to kind of recover here. It seems like we're building liquidity to like kind of build a further position down for a bigger position up. That's sort of how I'm interpreting this. And again, it's very, very difficult to kind of say. Let's get out to like a 1 hour, just see if we can see a little bit more of the details. But yeah, this all looks like just an accumulation or a distribution and sorry, like a reaccumulation of like sell orders, to me at least. I could be wrong. It's been known to be wrong before. I'm just waiting for confirmations, right? I just want to see what's happening, and I'm suspecting that like, yeah, we could potentially see this as inducement to build a bigger position, do the same thing here, possibly one last sweep and then drop. That's my thoughts at the moment. Just doesn't look like there's crazy amount of strength right this second. Looks like we're starting to taper off. Oh, man, oh man. Excuse me. First flip on 1 minute GJ reacting to the origin, buy to sell right now. Mm-hmm. What's everybody up to this weekend? Any kind of fun stuff? Always like hearing what people are up to. How's everybody doing anyway? Sailing. Fuck, that's awesome. I've actually got two friends right now. It's a couple, and anyways, they've got all sorts of freaking money, and they just went on like a week and a half long sailing excursion. Yeah, in Canada, just on the border of Kingston and I guess Thousand Islands is what it would be called. So yeah, super cool. Actually, good sailing story. Not to make it about me, but a good sailing story. My grandpa and my grandmother in 1992, I think is when they had retired. And they bought two sailboats in a little town. If you guys want to check it out, it's called Little Current, Ontario. And they sailed, just so you can see it on a map. It's called Little Current, exactly how it sounds, Manitoulin Island. And they sailed from there all the way down the entire east coast of the United States, all the way down into the Caribbean, and came back. It took them 22 months, I believe, to sail. So they were at sea for 22 months. Super cool. Lake Superior. Awesome. Where are you headed, Max? Catamaran. Awesome. John, where's the fucking invite, bro? I'm going to a mate's barbecue, pretty chill after some hectic weekends recently. Yeah, cool. Get into it. Have some pints, loosen up, back at it on Monday. Being way out on the water makes me, yeah, I don't know how. I like the idea of sailing. If it's like a day trip, even like a couple day trip, but like to be at sea, like obviously they went inland and stuff. They were inland all the time, parking the boat, and they were also traveling, right? Like they weren't just we're going sailing. Like they wanted to go see the entire East Coast, and that's what they had done. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about being out on the water like that for that long. It's a long fucking time. It's a really big commitment. Going to Cuba this Sunday. Won't be too active for the next 2 weeks, probably. I'm not even sure how the Wi-Fi will be there. Whereabouts in Cuba, Max? Are you going to Veradero? We could use another help to cover the cost. Savage. Yeah, I'm sure it's pretty pricey to do something like that. That's pretty cool, though. What do you think of EJ? It sweeps liquidity. EJ. I mean, you're fighting order flow here, big time, right? Like for me, I'd like to see, like, this is a counter order flow move. You could potentially do it if you really wanted to. I'm not getting involved up here personally. I would much rather see something along the lines of this breakdown, interaction, sweep up, create the same thing, and then start dropping like this. I ain't going to be rushing. I know what my setup looks like, and if I don't see it, I'm not going to be forcing stuff up here just because we're at a top. It might run, you know what I mean? Like that's fine. I'm just not particularly interested in that, especially like a counter order flow move like this. Order flow has not realigned for us whatsoever. Again, just personal thoughts, personal opinion on it. Doesn't mean it won't play out. I'm not like super fond of trying to pick out a top. I'm more interested in ensuring that I'm getting into very high probability areas. And I don't know that that would be a high probability area. How did those friends of yours get their buttload of money? Always looking for ideas. Are you talking to me, Trev, or to John? So he, how did they get that much money? Well, just for context, so he's a ENT surgeon, ears, nose, and throat. So he, yeah, I mean, I don't even know what his salary looks like. He's probably close to $1 million a year. And he also, oddly enough, he owns a hearing aid, or he's developed a hearing aid that is a part of, I don't know how to word this properly, but he supplies Nike headquarters is like his biggest contract. So anybody who needs hearing aids through, I guess, their insurance policy, he has the contract with them. So he's, they got lots of money. They got lots of money. And then she's also a nurse or an RN, I guess is what you could call it. Yeah, they have like they live in Ottawa as well. We see them pretty often. And yeah, they have like a $5 or $6 million home. It's crazy. I'll be there in a few weeks. They're actually having they do like an annual pool party. Their backyard, they just did like a $1.2 million renovation just on their backyard, not even anything to do with the house. Yeah, they're filthy rich. Yeah, long on Nike. Oh yeah, we're chilling, man. It's not a competition whatsoever. I'm just staying in my lane, doing our thing over here. Can't do it all, right? He's interesting cat though. Actually, he's hooked me up with a lot of wicked people over the course of like the last 2 years. He's got a lot of really cool connections. He's a little bit older. I think he's like 44, 45, and she's about 29. So she's playing like the sugar baby life almost, and she's more my friend than he is. I knew her first, but anyways, long story short, yeah, he's a pretty interesting cat. He's got all kinds of people in his pocket. Good guy to know. Yeah, it's like anything in the medical field, it's crazy, man. People need shit, right? People need stuff. Excuse me. Yeah, we're over here trying to secure a bag every day, or every week at least. This week's been awesome. Lots of half decent setups. Good more reaction plays than anything else, and I'm just not playing it super aggressively. I'm like, yeah, anyways, had some stuff going on in my personal life, and just not trying to hold trades for longer than necessary. Just target liquid regions. And how long will I be live today? I don't know. Feel like every week's different. Sometimes we're on for an hour, sometimes we're on for 2, sometimes they're on for 3. So I'm going to do the case study session as well on the back end of this. I'm not going to do it at 2:00. All due respect, it's like 30 degrees Celsius here, sunny, bluebird. The lake is super flat. Not that I don't want to sit here and twiddle my thumbs till 12, but I'm sure everybody can understand that I want to get on with my weekend while I'm spending time with some family. So yeah, so we'll probably do the case study session towards the back end of this, find a nice piece of price, talk about it. It's probably not going to take that long. And then the new schedule, we're going to be releasing for next week. So we're going to be meeting a little bit less, but having a little bit more to talk about. So yeah, that'll get released this weekend. Just FYI, we're going to be doing trade recaps twice a week as opposed to every single day. It's just going to allow a lot more dialogue for it, because oftentimes we don't take a trade, right? And we're kind of like beating a dead horse talking about stuff that didn't actually happen. And this way I can actually talk about more in depth on the trades that I'm taking. And I find what I'm doing now is, at least on a personal level, what's happening for me is that because I'm trying to deliver content every single day, oftentimes I'm looking a lot harder for trades than I should be. So I want to be able to focus on the quality setups and be able to dialogue about them a lot more in detail. Oh yeah, man. Always. We're always going to keep it going with fam. That's like, and I'm going to be doing well, I'm sure you care enough, but I'm gonna be doing a reel, a lifestyle reel, first one that I've ever done, and I might do it more as like a video format where I can talk for a few minutes. We're gonna go down to the dock and just kind of talk about like this whole last week and a half in review, because it's been really, I've never done this. I've never like had like I did it in Mexico when I went in March. If you guys have been around for long enough, you know that I was away and did the same thing. You know, we catered to the community, and like, this is it, you know, like this is exactly why I built out, you know, my business this way, my trade plan this way. And I just want to talk about how important it is to, you know, don't forget about why you got into trading, understanding how important it is to make the time for yourself, because otherwise what's the fucking point, right? Like, what's the point in doing all this work just to be a slave you know, to your office or to your, you know, your chair, whatever it is. Like, I'm chilling on my parents' couch right now. My feet are literally kicked back on the couch. I've got a coffee with Bailey's in my hand, and I'm just watching Price, talking to you guys. Like, this is it. This is what we're supposed to be doing, right? And like, don't lose sight of that, because it's super important to embrace what it is to be a trader and the freedom that it can provide. Oh yeah, man. I'm not like, you know what? Yeah. Anyways, I don't want to even go down that rabbit hole of like the Lambo life thing. But yeah, I got you, man. I totally get it. I'm not trying to flash fortune and fame, right? Um, I want like lifestyle. Everybody's lifestyle can be different, and you would not believe the amount of hate and disrespect that I will get in my Instagram DMs. I'm sure you guys can just imagine. Where's your Lambo? Where's this? Where's that? Like, what kind of house do you live in? What do you drive? What do you do? Blah blah blah. And it's like, quite frankly, I do whatever the fuck I want, right? And like, that's what we do. That's the whole point. You don't need to have a Lambo to be successful, right? And everybody's success is defined differently than the next guy's, right? And quite frankly, my picturesque sort of life is having a nice plot of land in the vicinity of 10 to 20 acres with a nice A-frame. That's like my dream home, mid-century modern aesthetic inside, overlooking a lake. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, everybody's allowed to like what they like. You don't need to live in a penthouse. You don't need to have 4 Lambos. Do what the fuck you want to do, right? How did you keep yourself personally accountable earlier on in your career before fractal markets? Man, you know what? It was a very difficult thing. If I'm being completely honest, I absolutely hated my job. I got to a point where, how can I talk about this in a good way? I just got to a point where like I stopped caring about my work, and quite frankly, I wasn't really accountable to anybody. I was just, I was a loose cannon almost. Not that I was like volatile. I just didn't care. I just didn't give a shit. And when I'd taken my layoff, this is when I started becoming accountable. That was like the first piece of the puzzle where I was like, okay, what's the move here, right? You've got all this knowledge about Forex over the course of like, I think at that time I was like 5 years in or 4 years in. And it was like, okay, well, what's the play, right? Like what are we going to do here, right? What can am I going to wait till I'm 40, get a little bit more money in the bank, get a little bit of more sizable personal account? I didn't even know about prop firms at the time, to be honest with you. They weren't on my radar. And anyways, my accountability, to answer the root of the question, sort of stepped in, yeah, a little bit later, to be honest with you. I just didn't really fucking care before that. Sending pics of the Camry. That's right. Corolla. People's thoughts on US 30. I want to start testing it. There's a few people in here that trade it. It's not personally my thing, but how many years in the trading journey? I'm working on year 7 right now, getting into year 8. So I mean, I've known about Forex for about that long, and I've like entertained the idea of what it was for about that long. Actively learning about it, I would say I'm about 6 to 7 years in. Very inconsistent in the first year or two. Went through it all. This is a scam. Nobody fucking makes money. This isn't a real fucking job. Blah blah blah. All these different things, right? The very victim kind of mindset. Started with Falcon. Falcon was like the real first piece that put me, and that was about 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, whatever it was. But before that was YouTube videos, baby pips, basically how everybody gets into FX. And then I got into Astro. Astro was really a foundational piece for me to really just understand what a strategy meant, and what an edge meant in the market. And I think that was super, super important. At least personally, that was one of the biggest things for me. Was more Fibonacci retracements, which in all fairness is not a whole lot different than what we do, but it's knowing how to plot them is really important with like premium and discount is what I'm kind of referencing. So used to use like the 618, 78.6 just as a confluence builder. I used to use a couple EMAs as well. And then from there, I got into the Astro 2.0 when Sean had done like the black candle, whatever the fuck he was doing with all that shit. And that was more trading raw price, order blocks, intro to like liquidity concepts, with still using kind of like Fibonacci's as like an added layer of confluence, which again stems from like the premium and discount sort of functions that we use within SMC trading. So I got a good blend of a couple different strategies that were, in all fairness, they were working as good as any strategy, right? You put in the work to understand and adopt the mannerisms of any strategy. I mean, at some point, if you're consistent enough with your application, you're going to see results, right? And I think that's often overlooked. There's no golden goose for strategy where you're going to make more doing this than this. Like it's quite frankly, you got to put in the work to testing it and understanding. So things have come a long way. That's all I can really say is that it's been an uphill battle pretty well the whole time. It didn't get any easier. It's still not easy. It's still a very difficult thing to do. It's the hardest way to make easy money is often how I think about trading. But yeah, I mean, the journey has been amazing. And then most of you guys know, I was a part of Phantom. And wasn't a coach or anything, but I was a part of the community, and just that was really sort of like my tipping point for really, really understanding the dynamics of a market in terms of supply and demand, intro to liquidity concepts. I also did, what else did I do? I think that was it. Yeah. Anyways, man, like it's been a crazy little journey, to be honest with you. It's amazing how much things have changed. Yeah, say UUSD. Yeah, you know what? There's going to be a nice car in the foreseeable future, man. It's just a matter of time, and once I'm hoping maybe by next summer. I don't want to pay for a car. I want to have ideally some sort of an income stream that pays for it. At the bare minimum, something with real estate possibly. I don't want to be. I have a really hard time spending money. I tend to hoard it quite a bit. There's very few things I like spending money on, and I would say the top one that I love spending money on is cocaine and hookers. No, I'm just kidding. But food. I'm a huge food guy. I like going to restaurants. I have no problem spending $500 on like an awesome night out. That's kind of like my thing. How many years you struggle with trading? Struggle every day, man. Gets easier and easier though. Would you say the biggest game changer for you is a better psychology for a better strategy? I mean, really, the simple thing is oftentimes the number one question that we'll sort of get within trading is how to improve psychology, and it's very simple. If you want to improve a muscle, such as your psychological strength or your psychological edge, you need to exercise it. And the best way to exercise it is by going with the flow of you making mistakes and possibly getting involved in bad trades and good trades and being able to understand that it's okay either way. There's no secret. There's like anybody who's got this, like, do this, do that, and speed up your way to a psychological edge in the market. Like, I think it's kind of, I don't know. I don't think it's real. I think the real thing here is, quite frankly, going to be get out there and do it, right? You want to see bigger biceps. What do? You go train biceps, right? Like it's simple. You don't need to complicate these things. But it takes time, and it's an ongoing process. It's never not going to be an ongoing process for me. It's something that I work on every single day, whether consciously or subconsciously. That's right. Time plus intention multiplied by effort equals results. East Hand Gang. Cocaine and hookers equals food. I like that, eh? Experience is over. Yeah, man. I'm a big I'm gonna be traveling quite a bit in like the next little this is really kind of put things into perspective. Kind of being out at my parents for this like last week and a half, moving up on 2 weeks now. It's just been, you kind of lose sight of what's really important with trading and what you value most from trading. And again, like my personal experience, I value just having the time to do what I want to do, not have a boss, not have to like send an email into, my boss and say, oh, is it okay if I take a little bit of time off or whatever? Like, no, just go and do it, right? You get to go and book and do whatever the hell you want to do. Yeah. Any great psychology books you have come across in your travels? I started my last unread book the other night, so need to order some new. Okay. Give me 2 seconds. Let me open up my Audible and I can give you a whole bunch of them. So Phantom kind of, I'm sure you've read The One Thing. The One Thing is a really great one. Just trying to think of which ones I really, really like here. So Think and Grow Rich is obviously a staple. Trading Beyond the Matrix. Have you read that? I'll post some screenshots a little bit later on today. So Trading Beyond the Matrix is it's by Van Tharp. It's a staple. It's a staple in like the trading industry. A lot of people really resonate with that book. That's a really good one. I'm just trying to look at other specific trading ones. Market Wizards by Jack D. Schwager. It's another really good one. Trading in the Zone is half decent too. I think it's a little bit over glorified personally. One of my favorite books of all time with psychology. And again, how you read books today and how you read them in 6 months from now. If you reread them, it's one of those books where you'll get something different every time you read it. But all-time favorite book in terms of just like psychology, fighting internal demons, whatever it might be. Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil is arguably the #1 psychological book I've ever read, or psychology book. So if you haven't, I would definitely suggest checking that one out. I'll send a whole bunch out a little bit later. I've got about 40 books that in like the last 2 years that I've listened to on Audible that I've just had like a subscription. Yeah, 34 titles is what it says. Lots of good stuff in here. Lots of stuff I just didn't really resonate with, to be honest with you. It's kind of hit or miss, but I feel like once you have a good dozen books, not even, I mean, if you have like a top 4, top 5 books, anytime you read them, anytime you listen to them, depending on where you're at, you can get something different every single time, right? That's the kind of books I like, at least. Yeah, he was awesome. The Daily Stoic is also really good. I actually have that. And then I also have, what else do I have here? 2 seconds. The Compound Effect is another really good one. If you guys like deep end sort of experimental stuff, there's something called How to Change Your Mind. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that, by Michael Pollan. And it's more about, it's a little bit more abstract. It talks about the use of psilocybin and LSD in the earlier 1900s, getting into like I'm not sure exactly the dates. It's a really, really, really cool book. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, amazing book. The Chimp Paradox, another fantastic book. Another really good. Which book are you for? So what did I just say? How to Change Your Mind by Michael Pollan. Yeah, How to Change Your Mind. Happy Advantage is a great book. I haven't heard of that one. Another really good one is Start With Why. Yeah, Michael, that's the only book I've read by him, and I was very, very impressed. Used to like Tim Ferriss quite a bit. It doesn't do much for me anymore, to be honest with you. Was just something a little bit different at the time, and I feel like I don't resonate with it as much now. Oh man, excuse me. How to change? Oh, it's on Netflix. Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. I may have to start watching that tonight. Cool. Yeah, Fantastic Fungi was really good. This is the second time our conversations during live streams end up going the route of psychedelics. Oh man, it's funny as hell. They are quite awesome. I would agree. I check out Neurodose, great microdosing kits coming out of market. Cool. Yeah, I will check that out. I think I kind of mentioned this in a previous live, but I dabbled with a company called Schedule 35. Yeah, they were pretty cool. A couple different types of like concoctions, I guess you could say. They had one more primarily based on focus, one primarily based on mood enhancement. So it was kind of cool. Little nuances, I guess, but yeah, it's a lot. If you've never sort of dabbled in that thing, you just have to be careful with how you dose it. It can be a little overwhelming. Do I think trading is 90% psychology? No, controversial. I think it's 100% of everything, to be honest with you. It's how all of these like elements live cohesively. In my opinion, that's that's kind of how I view things. I used to think that it was 90% psychology, and it can be on some days, but on other days it can be all strategy, right? So I think it's how these things live together, and sort of interact with each other. Strategy, your approach, how you interpret the market data, how you deal with losses, how you deal with yourself when you lose or when you win, when you break even. Yeah, so I don't think it's 90% psychology. I don't think that's a good way to frame it personally. I think it's better to see how all these things exist together. I think that's more important. Got some tabs, DMT, and fungi floating around, but I haven't dabbled in quite a while. Not in microdoses sizes. He's a bit of a macro guy. Microdosing, but I carried away one night and decided to give it a rest for a while. This isn't a therapy session. Jesus Christ. It's funny. Haven't tried it. Not many people have. Like to one day. Cool. One time I got into it and I didn't have enough. I was dabbing it and I was worried about it going with the lit torch. Oh my God. Is there a new PDF coming out for the change of strategy? There's one being worked on. So it's going to be living within the trading dashboard, which has also been updated in Notion. So we're going to have a couple different elements within that sort of Notion handbook. And it's going to be a little bit more of like an SOP style format. So yeah, Dave and I are supposed to be working on that in the next couple of days, getting into next week. I think we loosely talked about 2 days ago. So I just need to get the point form stuff down, just kind of like a top down, like no avenues. It's like, here's our entry model. So we're just kind of, we're going to go one step deeper and just refine again. We're going to probably get out of, we're going to have still pro trend, pro order flow, and a pro trend counter order flow, but it's going to be more skewed towards the higher time frame narrative, where right now we sort of just follow around 15-minute structures. So you guys can still keep those modeling systems, but we're just going to kind of tighten it up and clean it up a little bit. Yeah, man, we there's just a lot of moving parts right now, Nick. We're like desperately trying to get this website launched so that you guys can have an awesome spot to just kind of hang out and kind of have a nice organized area for all of your videos, PDFs, all that kind of stuff. So it's coming. It's just, we're only two guys, right? AUD news in 1 minute. AUD. Is there any good POIs? I mean, this is just getting really deep in price. I'm not like super fond of this, but let's have a quick peek. Yeah, I said news in 1 minute. There we go. There's the news right here. usually we'll get the first sweep. Yeah, ideally, I'd like to see this come and take out this entire level, come up into here, start looking for trades. But again, that takes time, right? It takes lots of time for this to be able to configure itself. Like it doesn't just tap into this and then run, right? The number one reason why most traders are not profitable. Honestly, I think the major reason is that people don't see a strategy through all the way, and they end up in a position where they feel like they constantly need to toss and turn between different strategies. Grass is greener on the other side. Consistency is key, right? I mean, it's a silly analogy, but I mean, if you want bigger biceps, you don't go work out legs, like trading is very simple. Trading is so simple. Stick to what you know, stick to what somebody else knows at the beginning, understand how they do it, and then make it your own, right? It's people get so lost in, the grass is greener here. This is a better thing. This guy made this, so I'm going to follow him. And man, it's not a hard thing. There's buyers and sellers. There's literally just buyers and sellers in the market, and you just need to know where they're interacting. The grass is greener where you water it. That's right. We don't have the best strategy in the world, to be honest with you. Like our strategy is like, it's clean, it's pretty easy, but we're not involved every day. We're not involved every other day. Like we're involved with high probability areas, right? Where is the reaction going to come from? Where are these other areas, right? As soon as you start looking and dabbling with the idea of other things happening in your life, whether it be whatever, it doesn't matter what it is. It's the same with trading, right? So it's very, very easy to have commitment issues with a trading plan. Yeah, when you don't give it the time, right? Or water it when it needs to be watered. So yeah, you just have to remember that, like, the simplicity in, I mean, not to be this also philosophical and shit, but like the simpler you make your life, the easier it is to navigate, right? You want to add all these complex variables. I mean, you can expect some turbulence. So let's just keep things simple, man. I think that's the number one reason why people are not successful in the market, is they overcomplicate a very simple process. Most difficult things to me is staying in your lane and thinking long term when your edge doesn't provide several times. Yeah, it's a very difficult thing to do, but you know what? There's measures to take to be able to have really no risk involved in terms of money, at least, and even psychological risk. And that's called building case studies, and then it's called back testing, and it's called trading demo, right? And being involved with these moves, building a case study, and then literally back testing the case study right after, right? And understanding how it feels to actually see these candles print. You know what I mean? How long they take. Don't forget to measure. Don't forget to, like, literally go like this and say, okay, well, I wanted to get involved in here, right? So we needed for this to all kind of come down. So from the time we spiked in to all the way over here, when there was maybe a trade that was set up, that's 18 hours. Like people rush into things, right? They're impulsive. Best thing you can do for yourself, at least the way that we're moving with this community, is it's going to be really simple. You set alerts, you walk the fuck away. When the alerts go off, that's usually the first piece. Your POI has been hit. Then we need order flow to realign, right? Then we need liquidity to take. Then we need liquidity to target. Like, all of these things happen over time, right? And like I think that's the number one thing that people just don't understand, or they fail to accept, I think is the better way to kind of put it, is that there's not a setup every time you come on the fucking charts. There's also not a valid POI every time you jump on a chart. So many people think that when they come on and they look and they're staring blankly at a screen and they say, like right now, for me personally, I don't see a POI that I really, really like. If this broke down like this, and then we shot up like this would be a great POI for me personally. But don't know that I would like this leaving from here. Why? Because we're leaving from a demand zone, right? So again, you don't need to have valid setups every time that you look on the chart. If there's nothing abundantly clear, there's probably not going to be anything for the entire day. And that's just a hard truth, right? Anybody who shows up on and looks at their screen and says, today's the day, I'm pulling trigger, I don't fucking care what happens, like I need to make some money, like you're not going to last, man. Being disciplined, man. Nobody can teach you discipline but yourself. Wouldn't it be better to not show these forced trades? I take it that's what the new schedule isn't exactly. Like what's happening for me on a personal level, Nick, is having a community is challenging. Especially because we kind of we show it all, right? And losses, wins, doesn't matter. But what happens is when you kind of promise a community that you want to do a trade recap every single day, what ends up happening is you take lower quality setups that you can kind of justify with the plan, but they aren't exactly how I want to be trading them. If that makes sense. So yeah, kind of dialing things back to be able to have a little bit more breathing room and be a little bit more selective with the trade or trades that I take, in the 2-day window that I have before the trade recap, allows me to take those higher quality setups and just not feel as stressed out. Yeah. And that's the truth. Like, to be honest with you, it's been a little bit of a psychological battle to kind of deal with these things. So yeah, for me to deliver better content, for me to deliver just better trade ideas, better trade recaps, it's the necessary move. So it's not because I'm trying to dial back and like scale out of this business. It's quite frankly so that I can deliver higher quality content. There's not a lot shaping up right now, it looks like. Feel like you'd be more profitable. 100%, man, 100%. And I just have more time, right? Like that's the more important thing for me, is I'll have more time to do what I'm actually trying to do on the charts, as opposed to forcing something out. Hey boss, just joined the call. Have you already looked at EJ today? Lots of liquidity to take and to target. We had a peak. Yeah, no, this is just gonna run, man. This is a weak high, right? This doesn't break anything. Doesn't do anything. The high is weak. We're entering bullish order flow, man. This thing's gonna run probably up into something like this. Probably get a reaction in here, right? Pull back, maybe sweep, then we can start looking. Inducement for the zone above, could be. I think this is going to run, to be honest with you. I think this is going to run for a little bit. We can kind of bank on that. Showing these force moves also confuses me. Yeah, exactly. And like, trust me, man, like I've been not beating myself up over it, but it's something that like I'm trying to be as transparent as possible too, and kind of show that, you know what, no matter how good your plan is, sometimes you just break it. But that, like, yeah. And I'm just trying to focus on higher quality shit. That's really what it boils down to, so that we can actually deliver content that really resonates with how we trade. It doesn't look like there's a lot framing up right this second.
I can ask a question. Sorry, I don't feel like typing.
Me neither.
What's the difference between GBP JPY and Euro JPY in context with what you just said? Like that high is weak. I mean, this.
So this breaks down a couple different demand levels in here, right?
Okay.
So
yeah, I see that.
What I would like, how this would gain some relevance for me, is if we broke down again, and then we had liquidity to take, and then all this to target.
Okay, yeah, I get that. And then just show on EJ the same thing.
You know what I mean? Like if this would have came down and broken through, I would have probably looked at something up here potentially, again with the right confirmation. Right? Does that make more sense?
But you don't see these. Yeah, you don't see these over here as levels that are broke.
Let me just look at. So yeah, I guess yeah. No, you're not wrong. Yeah, little levels in here. They seem a little bit. Yeah, maybe I'm just forcing it a little bit, but yeah, these seem like more of like pullbacks, right? More of pullbacks. Not that. I mean, same. You know what I mean? It's the same shit. But yeah, like ultimately, I'd like to see bearish order flow persist here, right? Come through, be able to come back up, maybe take out this high, sweep one last time, start breaking through, and then I can take this.
No, so they're both the same on with the rest. Like we want to see this break.
Oh,
and then
sorry.
come up.
Yeah, exactly. You want bearish order flow to kick in and then essentially have a level of liquidity to take, usually at an extremity, right? And then be able to actually take this and then take this down.
I did a demo trade over here this morning during Frankfurt, but that's only because like.
Go ahead.
It's only because this liquidity was taken, then this was taken, and then
Yeah.
I saw like we had all this to here. So then I just played it from there to here, obviously knowing because we hadn't broken below this. That's why I played it into here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the major things too is like you can play this narrative, right? But you just have to understand that if there's something unmitigated in here, whatever it might be, like you got to target the unmitigated zone, right? Even though it's aligned with our higher time frame, you know that there's going to be a reaction. Unless you want to play this entire reaction pulling back, like we don't know that we're going to break through here, right?
Yeah, I think that whole play the unmitigated zone is starting to make sense to me now, like what it actually really means.
Yeah, because
like, I know what it means. Everyone knows what it means, but what does it mean in the context of what we're doing and what's happening with the plots? So yeah,
that's right. And it's super important, man. Super like I am always trying to play into that higher time frame intention, which is to roll over at some point. But like if there's unmitigated zones along the way, it's very simple. Take 80% of your position off here and let the rest run, right? Or take full volume off.
Yeah, and then I took it off and I was like, yeah, that's perfect for me.
That's big money, man.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. GJ 5-second LTT in line with order flow. There's no money behind this right here. That's the only thing I don't like about these news wicks. Liquidity to take, liquidity to target. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, that's not for me. I'm waiting for this to gain relevance. Like I said, like this needs to do a few different things. It needs to break down again and be able to potentially. What am I doing here? Gee, that's the one minute. Okay, let's go to the 15. I'm still waiting, man. I'm still waiting. I'm not like forcing this out. There's tons of liquidity built up across the highs. We're reacting to lows, failing to take out lows. Like, yeah, this will probably get swept, possibly break down, and then possibly look for something. But yeah, in the meantime, like this is not a tradable zone for me. Burn my cocaine and hookers. There you go. Good for you. Looks like no trade today, guys. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I don't want to like beat this to death here. For our okay, so I'm going to show you guys the new schedule. This is what I'm going to do right now, and I think we're going to start it like this week. Where is my stuff? Where's my stuff? There we go. Dave in here? Let's see. Oh, maybe he's not. Dave didn't get out of bed this morning. Okay, I'm just going to share this so that I can show you guys. So I don't want to just randomly select a piece of price right this second, because quite frankly, I haven't done it yet. And like I mentioned, and I mean, judge me all you want if you would like, but I'd love to get on with my day today. I'm getting down into the last couple of days with family. So I'm curious to know if you guys are okay with us just kind of doing our case study session on Sunday, kind of, get us into the week. So that's kind of how our schedule is going to be shaping up anyway. So just so you guys can see. So the new proposal for schedule is daily look ahead on all major on all major pairs. Daily look ahead on all majors so this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Wednesday is essentially when we're going to start looking into our daily look ahead. We're going to do our midweek recap. So I'm going to put a proposed time probably for 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, maybe. I'm entirely sure yet. Probably keep it at 12. So this will be an interactive meeting that we'll have. We can talk about the trades taken, all that kind of fun stuff, watch list, update. So I think like case studies everybody knows how to do them. And in the foundation series, we're going to have a really, really detailed segment on how we actually make them and why we make them and the difference between case studies and back testing and how to back test the case study. So anyways, long story short, you can see just like our little roadmap here, midweek breakdown, daily look ahead. We're going to keep our live trading event on Friday. And then moving forward, we're going to have, I think Dave's making this up this weekend. We're actually going to have a Q&A form that we're going to start using. And you're going to be prompted to answer some questions before you can actually submit the question to us. And then the idea with this is that it gives you the entire week to kind of think of the few questions that you may have. You get to prioritize them into which ones are, you can still ask questions in the trading questions section, but we're going to try to scale back and try to get you guys on the route of essentially trying to think for yourselves a little bit more. And I've already mentioned this a little bit in the past, just because I think it's super important. I think it's really important to not just rely on myself, not rely on Afonso, Coda, Dave, Dana, because trading is a deeply personal venture. And I think that everybody should start to understand that thinking for yourself is something that is going to be very advantageous long term. We're not trying to like push you guys all the way and say like, no, it's your turn to just do it. It's just we want you to think a little bit more about your questions and provide a little bit more context to them as well. So that'll be coming out in the next week or so. And what else do we have here? We've got so Saturdays, obviously we're not going to be seeing you guys on Saturdays. Super big believer on taking a day for yourself. Flex post on Instagram. You guys aren't supposed to see all that. My bad. Dave will fucking kill me. Don't tell Dave, everybody. Go through Q&A forms. So yeah, we'll go through the Q&A forms and we'll basically build out like a webinar based on that. And then on the Sundays, is what we want to have as like our kind of like plateau day for the week, kind of puts us into the week to come. We're going to start looking at how to build a watch list, because that's a super good tool. Knowing where the high probability zones are happening on the higher time frame, being able to wait for these things to play out over the course of a couple of days, couple weeks sometimes, and just looking where all of these things are sort of happening in the market. So how to build that, how to actually set your POIs, how to set your alerts, looking for where liquid regions are on the higher time, all these different things. So that's all stuff that we want to start covering on the Sunday. And then shortly after that, so this will end up being about a 2-hour webinar. It'll be all in one. It'll be building your watch list. It'll be Q&A, which will probably be right at the beginning, actually. Then we'll get into the watch list. And then we'll do a case study from the week previous, kind of recapping like the trade of the week is what we're going to do. And I think it's just going to be a little bit better to, I'm sure a lot of people struggle with constantly trying to make the, like, they feel like they have to be involved with daily recaps every single day. That's what they paid for. That's like, and oftentimes it's conflicting with other people's schedules. Not even just mine, just everybody's, right? And like, as much as I want to meet every single day and be able to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at and all these different things, the bottom line is it's not as manageable as it once was for everybody in this community, myself included. So we're just trying to tidy things up and deliver the highest quality content. So we're going to roll with this for a few weeks, get some feedback from you guys, see how you guys like the schedule, how it's working out with everybody, and we'll adjust it as necessary. You know what I mean? Like, we're ultimately community at the forefront here. I'm trying to make things the best way possible, and we're learning how to do all of this as well, right? Like, you have to remember, Dave and I don't come from like an education background, and we're quite literally just trying to make this work in the best way possible, right? So with that being said, nothing's framing up right now, and quite frankly, Fridays, I don't force shit. I'm just chilling. I'm quite literally, my mind is already somewhere else, as I'm sure most of you are as well. So let's regroup on Sunday. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the new proposed schedule out tomorrow. So you guys, if you want to take a screenshot, by all means, you can see kind of what's happening here. Times will remain the same. Daily look ahead will always be a pre-recorded call. Daily look ahead, midweek recap, we'll have an interactive Zoom that'll happen at 12 o'clock. And then again, we'll the other thing I wanted to put in here is put out Q&A form. Midweek recap. We'll also talk about, sorry, not case study. This will actually be trade recap from the end of the week, which will be in the form of a case study as well. Trade recap / case study. Cool. So the other thing too, if you guys want, you can head over. I don't know what, I think Dave has updated Fractal Markets dashboard. That's Dave's Notion. Let's go over to mine. Templates. Yeah, I believe Dave has done some work in here, if I'm not mistaken. Trading day. Okay. Trade. Target. Can you guys see Notion, by the way? Oh yeah, you can. You already mentioned that. Flowchart model. So we're going to be changing all of these modeling systems. Like, obviously these are a little bit dated, so we're going to kind of reintegrate the newer models with like just like what we're going to label them at. We'll have them numbered or whatever the hell we're going to do for the new system. Entry confluences, like, we're going to kind of overhaul this over the course of the next week or so. I thought he had already started working on it, but looks like I might not be in the right template either. Anyways, long story short, everything's going to live within this dashboard is the way that we're trying to set it up, so that we can journal template, essentially have our trade plan here. We can have different updates and schedule if we need to. We can have a content or an actual calendar of the actual events in here, and we can populate them for you guys. Anyways, this is going to have a little bit more of an overhaul, just to have it again, just a little bit more interactive for you guys, and be able to have everything in one contained spot. So yeah, listen guys, have a good weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Don't forget, and I always fucking say it, and I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing it, but let me validate you for tomorrow. If that's something that you need, take Saturdays for yourself. Don't forget to have some time for friends, family, yourself, whatever it is that you value. Trading isn't everything. Okay. Enjoy yourself, guys. We'll catch you guys a little bit later on this weekend, and I'll see you guys on Sunday. So have a good one, and we'll talk Sunday. Peace out.